She was the queen of reggaeton, the voice of a generation, the fearless bichota who conquered the world. But on October 12, 2022, Karol G died in a plane crash outside Medellín. The woman who survived that crash and walked off that plane wasn't Carolina Geraldo Navarro. It was someone else. Someone who had been waiting years to take her place. Someone who knew every song, every move, every secret. And for 3 years, the world never suspected a thing. Until one night, when she stood on stage in front of 100,000 people and confessed, "I am not Karol G. I killed my sister." This story will destroy everything you thought you knew about identity, fame, and the price of becoming someone else. October 2022. Karol G was at the peak of her career. Her album had broken streaming records across Latin America. Her tours were selling out in minutes. She was the undisputed queen of reggaeton, the woman who proved that female artists could dominate a male-controlled industry. But on October 12th, everything changed. Karol G's private jet encountered a massive storm while flying from Bogotá to Medellín. The pilot was forced to make an emergency landing at a small, private airstrip in the mountains outside the city. Official reports stated that all passengers survived with minor injuries. Karol G posted a smiling photo on Instagram hours later with the caption, "Gracias a Dios estamos bien," but the people closest to her immediately noticed something was wrong. Her longtime producer, who had worked with Karol G for 15 years, was the first to sense it. When she came into the studio 3 days after the crash, she seemed different. She sat at the piano and stared at it for 5 full minutes before touching the keys. Then she asked him, "Which song are we working on today?" They had been working on the same track for 2 weeks. She knew every note by heart. Or at least, she used to. Her best friend since childhood called her that same week. During their conversation, Karol G mispronounced a Colombian slang word, a word they had used together since they were 7 years old. Her friend laughed it off, but later told reporters, "Carolina never made mistakes like that. She was born and raised speaking that way." It was like talking to someone who learned Spanish as a second language. Most disturbing was her mother. At a private family dinner 2 weeks after the crash, her mother stared into Karol G's eyes for a long moment. Then she whispered, "Who are you?" Karol G smiled and replied, "Mama, it's me. The crash shook me up, that's all." But her mother couldn't shake the feeling. She later confided to a family member, "Her eyes, they're not Carolina's eyes," but nobody said anything publicly. Because whoever this woman was, she was making Karol G more successful than ever. 6 months after the crash, an anonymous message was sent to every major Latin music journalist in the world. The message contained a single photograph and 3 sentences. Carolina Geraldo Navarro had a twin sister named Catalina. She disappeared in 2019. Ask yourself why nobody ever talks about her. The photograph showed 2 identical little girls, maybe 5 years old, standing in front of a small house in Medellín. They were holding hands, but one girl was smiling at the camera while the other stared directly into the lens with cold, unblinking eyes. Internet investigators went to work immediately. They found birth records in Colombia confirming that Carolina Geraldo Navarro, known as Karol G, did indeed have a twin sister, Catalina Geraldo Navarro. But every official record of Catalina stopped abruptly in 2019. No social media, no public appearances, no death certificate. She had simply vanished. A retired priest from their hometown agreed to speak anonymously. He remembered both girls growing up. Carolina was the talented one, the star. Everyone loved her. But Catalina was different, darker. She was just as talented, but she had this intensity that made people uncomfortable. Carolina's career took off, and Catalina stayed in the shadows. Some people said Carolina pushed her out intentionally. Jealousy, maybe. Then one day, Catalina was just gone. The family never spoke about it. The question became unavoidable. After the crash, who really came back, Carolina or Catalina? And ULAA had been silent about Karol G for 2 years. Their breakup had been public and painful, but he never explained why he left so suddenly. Then, one night, during an Instagram live session where he'd clearly been drinking, he broke his silence. "I loved Carolina," he said, his voice shaking. "I loved her more than anything." But after that crash, something changed. She wasn't the same person. She knew things about me that I never told her. She moved differently. Her voice had these little changes. One night, I looked into her eyes and I saw someone else staring back at me. I saw hate, I saw revenge. I couldn't do it anymore. I ran. The live session suddenly cut off. Minutes later, a final message appeared on his story before being deleted. Catalina sabe donde vivo. Catalina knows where I live. Anuel never spoke about Karol G again. In 2024, a fan uploaded a slowed-down video from Karol G's concert in Madrid. The video went viral, but not for the music. In the footage, Karol G puts down her microphone during a song. But her voice continues singing perfectly, her lips aren't moving, the voice is still there. In another clip from the same concert, Karol G turns directly toward a camera. Her lips are moving, but no sound comes out. A professional lip reader analyzed the footage and released their findings online. She was saying, "Help me, I'm trapped." The video was viewed 50 million times in 24 hours. Karol G's team released a statement calling it edited footage designed to spread conspiracy theories. But the fan who uploaded it provided the original, unedited file. Forensic analysts confirmed it hadn't been tampered with. 2 weeks later, an anonymous account uploaded a video to YouTube. The timestamp on the video read October 10th, 2022, 2 days before the crash. In the video, the real Karol G, Carolina, sits in front of a camera. Her face is pale, she's been crying. If you're watching this, it means something happened to me. My sister Catalina has been watching me for years. She studied everything about me. My voice, my movements, my mannerisms. She told me once the world loves Karol G, but they never loved me. If I were you, they would love me too. I didn't take her seriously. I should have. Carolina pauses, wiping her eyes. If something happens to me, if I disappear or if I seem different, please know. Catalina planned this. She wants to be me. She wants my life. And if she succeeds, no one will ever know the difference. The video ends. The upload date on the file metadata, October 15th, 2022, 3 days after the crash. September 2025, the final concert of Karol G's Mañana Será Bonito World Tour, 100,000 people packed into a stadium in Medellín, millions more watching the live stream. The concert is flawless, the crowd is electric. As the final song ends, Karol G stands alone on stage, breathing heavily, then she picks up the microphone. I need to tell you something. I need to tell you the truth. The stadium falls silent. My name is not Carolina, my name is Catalina, and 3 years ago I killed my sister. Screams, panic. The live stream cuts off. The next morning, Karol G's official Instagram account posted a statement. Last night was a performance art piece exploring identity, obsession, and the stories we create about celebrities. I am Carolina Geraldo Navarro. I have always been Carolina, but the fact that you believed I could be someone else says more about us than anything else. But the world wasn't sure. Because the twin sister was real, the crash was real, the changes after the crash were real, and Wells' fear was real, the video diary was real. So the question remains, who is Karol G? Is she Carolina, playing a twisted game with her audience? Or is she Catalina, hiding in plain sight, daring anyone to prove she's not the real queen? And maybe the most terrifying question of all, does it even matter? Because whoever she is, the world still loves her, and that might be exactly what she wanted all along.